we're having just to let you all know. All right, if you're watching this on replay, because very few are going to see the first minute or so, I have to set this up a little bit differently than when using StreamYard, and because of that, I screwed up the sharing this out earlier than as I'm supposed to.
I had
So
no idea we were going to switch right away.
yeah, well, my StreamYard actually runs out in like 2 days, so I've been trying to get the process in process. So, but all right. So now
There
there's that
we
done.
go. And this is called Restream.
Restream. It's actually a little bit cheaper than StreamYard.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it's got more full features than StreamYard.
More bang for your buck.
More bang for your buck. But again, there's a learning curve on how to
Oh,
make it.
I can even go to a full screen. How nice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can't see the messages, but we'll see what happens.
So no, I do like this, except that, like I
Yeah, it's
said,
really nice.
I did screw up today.
And you even got your background back. Wow.
I got my background back. Well, part of the background issue is that I have been using um
Well, some people got it.
yeah, I have been using an app that I had for years, and it doesn't work anymore with the latest Apple update for the operating system.
Hmm.
So I was like,
Okay.
son of a.
When I get that laptop from you guys, this is the kind of thing I'm going to have to contend with.
No, because it's not a laptop; it's an iPad.
Okay. It's a
Yeah,
what?
it's an iPad. You're getting an iPad.
You told me
iPad
it was
Pro.
a.
It's an
Oh,
iPad.
I thought you said MacBook. I thought you said MacBook.
No, no.
That's why I thought you took it off the screen with the
It looks like
keyboard.
it
What
looks like a
the
MacBook.
hell?
No, it looks like a MacBook, but it's an iPad Pro.
Oh, okay. So you got the keyboard with it.
You
Okay.
got the
I mean, the first
yeah,
time you showed me that, you took it apart and I go, "Whoa, never
yeah.
seen that before."
It's like a transformer.
MacBooks can do that? What?
No, they can't. No, they can't.
Oh well.
But
I'll have an Android and a Mac
yeah,
pad.
and you'll have a pen with it. Because I found out
Of
they had
course.
a pen that went with it. So
I can see people. Oh, this is different. When they do the comments, it loads from the top.
right. So I gotta. So
Put them up here.
yep.
Hey, there we go.
Googly.
I see a little titwillow of a man. Scaramouche, Scaramouche. Can you do the fandango? But
Just a stroke of lightning, very, very frightening. Whee!
Galileo,
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 Galileo. We ought
Figaro.
to get on here sometime and put it on YouTube where we just like, you know, mouth to it or something.
If you're gonna spew into this, it's like nobody can spew into that cup, dude.
So this is my last episode before I leave town.
Yes.
And next Friday, I've been meaning to. I don't think I'm going to get out of it, but the next 2 weeks from now, when I'm going to be there, I was wondering if I could like do this from Jason's house, but then I remembered Jason wants me to run a game that night. So
Is it Friday or Saturday he wants you to run the game?
I don't know.
I think it's Saturday because I think he wants me to come out Saturday. He wants you to run a game.
He wanted me to run a game Friday too.
Oh,
because his regular group's going to be there Friday. Now, there's going to be people, if you come, there's going to be people there too. I remember because I'm trying to figure out 3 games. Most of it is taking care of itself because I got stuff I can draw on, but I'm still working on that Gangbusters game. I said, does Gangbusters have to be on the table? And he says something like, you don't know how much I built this up for you. Mainly. Well, not like that, but he says, I've told them You have to play in Glenn's Gangbusters game. It's an experience.
Well, it is.
Yeah, thanks. No pressure. So it's gonna be Gangbusters plus one or two more. I don't know. I'm bouncing around. It all depends on how much weight I can have on my carry-on.
You got to go digital, Glenn. You got to go digital.
I have the digital, but when you're sitting there with a bunch of people making characters, digital doesn't always cut it.
Oh, I know. All right.
I mean, in my Monday group, when I was running stuff, I would automatically send the PDFs of the rules, or at least the player handbook if it had to the players. So it's like, okay, here's the game. Look at it. We'll show up. We'll make some characters. I got to remember bring character sheets too. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on what to pack, how to get through it, and all that other stuff, and listening to them talk how to. I'm having buyer's remorse on my flight because now I got all these hacks, so I can get a lot cheaper fares that I didn't know before I booked the flight.
I don't.
Shame on me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know no hacks.
So I'm here tonight with a slightly swollen eye over here because
I didn't hit Glenn. Just
allergies.
Allergies. Okay, it wasn't like Glenn. It didn't happen. It's been very bad. I've been having this eye. It's been itchy and watery all week. Terrible. Oh boy. So that's what I've got going. How about you? I'm not drinking anything tonight. So well, I mean, I'm not drinking it, but it just came. This is a Liberty Call bourbon whiskey, small batch, Uncommon Valor. It's a 9/11 memorial for the retired sergeants in the NYPD.
Oh, that is so nice.
So I actually got 2 of these bottles. So Glenn, maybe we will partake in one.
Yeah, sure. I'd be honored.
Okay.
Another thing I was going to tell you that that's one place I don't want to see in New York is 9/11 Memorial. Or if I do, I'll be going by myself.
Yeah. So Glenn,
I wouldn't take you there.
I've gone once, and that was with my old gaming group because they all worked there. And we did this, God, I don't know how many years ago, 5-6 years ago. And it was, it's an emotional time. I
know. I just don't want to put you and Rach. I don't want to put you and Rach through.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but you'll have to make a list of what you want to see.
I've been a couple times to the Oklahoma City, bombing memorial. So I pretty much know how that goes. And, a lot of people here, like Becky and her clan they were here when it happened.
Right.
In fact, one of her sisters was working in an office next to the Murrah building when it went off. And so, yeah, we've been there. So
yeah, you do carry it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, lighter note. How was ShireCon?
ShireCon was really good.
Was it?
Yeah. No. And what James Carpio passed the Monday after ShireCon. He was at ShireCon with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him a number of times, but he's always talking with somebody. I didn't want to interrupt because I figure, if I don't talk to James now, I'll talk to him at TotalCon in a few months. And I won't be talking to James at TotalCon in a few months because, he passed, which is kind of tells you how fragile life is, folks. Take those moments when you get them. I'm not upset that I wasn't the asshole who barged into a conversation, but just if I had just said, "Hey, James, hello,"
you could have been.
I could have been a contender for being an asshole.
Yeah.
Wild Eye Woodard Game Hall Con is 2 weeks from today as well. It is.
Yay.
So Talking Crit that Wednesday. 2/3 of us, not me, but Mike and Jim will be at Game Hall the eve before, and so many people there the eve before. So I don't know where they're going to set up, but they'll be looking to snag special guests along the way. And as an aside, I will announce this now. Next Wednesday, Talking Crit, our special guest, none other than James Raggy of Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
See, this is why I never come on this show.
James drives you nuts. James
No, it has nothing to do with James. It's just that you always have some good, really good special guests, and I don't want to get in the way.
Oh, well, you're right. We had no special guests this past week, Glenn. You should
really? How about that?
Yeah, we had no.
Well, I kind of made up for it because I picked up your slack at Biggest Geekus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I basically called you a slacker for not showing up.
And that was their last one, right?
Yeah. I did 10, 15 minutes with them, and then, they had a lot of people on, showing up saying, you guys are great. Thanks. Bye. And I also told them, if you need a third, when you come back, here I am.
So now, is this a hiatus, or are they?
That's all what they're saying is we're going to take some time off. It may be permanent. It may not. They're leaving you up in the air, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they want to keep their options open, is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Listen, anything can become a grind. Sometimes you need to stop things out. I mean, I've been running a blog now for, 13, 14 years. And it's changed from what it was, but it's still mostly daily.
I'm surprised it's still there with all the other stuff you got going.
Yeah, well, I talked with Ian McGarty of Silver Boulet, and I don't know. We're in talks to have Ian and Rocky pick up posting on one of those days. I like to have an extra voice or two on the blog side. It shouldn't all be old Tenkar all the time. That's why this channel works so well. I got all these different co-hosts, so you don't get too much Tenkar. Just saying.
I was looking
just enough Tenkar. Oh God!
Can you ever get enough Tenkar?
Glenn, when you come visit, you're gonna have to watch a YouTube channel with us, and you don't have to watch for long. But just enough Heshy show.
Heshy?
Just enough.
Just enough Heshy.
Just enough Heshy. Heshy. I'm not sure if
not too much.
Not too much Heshy. Heshy has a show on public radio, and he has a YouTube channel, and he's a very conservative Jewish man, and he talks just like this. And it's the Just Enough Heshy show. And every year he runs for political office, never gets it, but he has some votes.
It's New York City. What do you want?
Yeah. Just Enough Heshy show.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, if I'm getting it, this is my regular tablet. It's an off-brand from Amazon, and it works great.
There you go.
See? Works great.
Is that Laurel and Hardy?
Yes, and somebody suggested on YouTube that you should put a sticker or something on here to make it distinctive, so somebody doesn't steal your tablet or other.
If you want to steal it, they're going to steal it. Distinctive sticker isn't going to do shit. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if somebody has two silver laptops, there's two silver laptops in the security area. So it could be an accident. So they said put a sticker on. So this is what I put on.
Oh, nice.
That'll get me by until I can find something else.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, but I had the Farrah Fawcett sticker on mine. Nobody else has a Farrah Fawcett sticker on there.
I don't. She was all right.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge Farrah Fawcett fan.
I thought there were plenty. Hello, John. There were plenty of women who were prettier than her. I'm sorry to say.
So, actually, John, you do make a good point, though. And I know you're saying it in jest, hey, yo, vote early and vote often. You sound like you're in Chicago. Not that New York City doesn't have its own corruption, but our corruption is usually with our officials, not with the process.
That statement always bothered me. You vote early and often. It sounds like you're stuff in the ballot box.
Thank you. That's what it's meant to sound like, Glenn. That is certainly it.
Yeah, but that's something, you know.
No, I know, and well, it's also
legitimate. It's not like at Chicago where they take the graveyard vote.
Well, yeah. So, folks, here's I'll probably start the spiel because we are a month out from election day. Vote. I don't care how you vote. I don't care who you vote
It's
for.
the 7th, right?
Yeah, I believe.
You know how I know?
How do you know?
I got a colonoscopy the 6th.
Oh, Glenn, you better vote early. Because you ain't your ass ain't gonna be feeling it for the 7th, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that was like, oh, this is what I have to pay for my trip is a colonoscopy. Okay, fine. The doctor, this is from last year. The doctor is like, well, I didn't think we did a good job last year, so we want to do it again to this. It's like, what do you mean you didn't do a good job last year?
We're gonna do it's almost like just enough Heshy. We're gonna do just enough, Glenn. Just enough to make sure we can come back 365 days.
Not to get gross about it, but I made sure I had an afternoon appointment because otherwise I'm getting up at like 3 or 4 a.m. to take that damn crap you have to drink. And then I didn't get up in time. And last time we had a couple of accidents. So it's like, give me an afternoon slot.
It's like, you're all full of shit.
He's telling me I got to do a 3-day fast, like, only liquids. 3 days? Come on.
3 days.
Last time it was a day and a half at the most.
Well, that's because they didn't do a good enough job. We got to do a better job.
They have to make sure that colon clean.
Yeah, they had to go in there with the squeegee guys.
Hi, Don. I'm doing okay. How you?
How you doing, eh?
How you doing? How you doing? Sometimes I think I'm going to go there as a tourist, but in a certain sense, I think I'm going to fit right in a way.
In a way. Well, Glenn, you might
look. I've had people who've met me in theater or otherwise. I've had women who I've been with that I think even Becky said, when I first met you, I thought you were from New York. And I said, well, that's just an, I'm
an actor.
She says, no, it had nothing to do with your voice. It was your attitude. I said, oh, okay.
Okay. New York attitude, eh?
Yeah.
I'll give you attitude, eh?
It's like, look, hon, I watched a lot of movies, watched a lot of sitcoms when I was younger. Yeah, it sort of rubs off.
So yes, Mike.
It can only help my jamming.
So, Mike, I actually screwed up a little with the restream and set up the live, but I didn't schedule the live because I don't know.
Oh, did somebody say? Okay, we should get him on here and see if it works.
What?
Get him on here. No, I'm sorry. I didn't say the genie's magic word, Ginny D.
Oh no!
You say Ginny D, and poof, he shows up. Oh, leave her alone.
Mike's already here.
Leave her alone.
Leave my woman alone. Anxious to see if Glen Tenkar is spooning while in New York. You're jealous, Mike. You're jealous. It's okay, man. It's okay.
What can I say?
You know, Mike, I'm sorry, but I'm going for the older man. Get a wee bit older.
Yeah, Don said a Glen advice, take it the night before. Yeah, I understand that, but I was just trying to follow the directions on the sheet they gave me on it. They gave me 2 of those. God, and swear to God, I don't know how I didn't vomit drinking that stuff.
Ugh. 3 days only liquids. Easy. I can then have the main food group, coffee.
Well, for me, it's soda. I gotta get my caffeine somehow, and I hate coffee.
Well, no, I mean your 3 days doesn't have to be black coffee. It's just
Yes, it does.
has to be
I think
black.
It has to be clear liquid.
Clear liquids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coke will get me by.
Like chicken broth and
Sprite,
but then
7-Up.
you can't really have dyes either.
I want to have the at-home kit. You know, the one that you poop in a bag and you send it
Well,
out.
you know, after I had my stomach surgery about 15 years, 20 years ago, he put me on a 3-week liquid diet after that.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to stay on it because
Really?
I dropped like 40 pounds like that,
Oh, damn.
you know, and it's like, I can do this.
Yeah, I
Does-
was on one after I broke my nose.
Does squeezed cheese count as liquid diet?
No, sir.
Shush.
No dairy.
I don't need any talk from you lying to me.
I suppose milk is out of the question.
Yeah.
Only because I want ice cream.
It's not your tonsils coming out, sir. It's not your tonsils.
Donald, that's a good question. Glenn, let me know if you are interested in doing a pre-release review of the new Gangbusters. Should be available in December for a review. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If nothing else, if I don't get the copy when it comes out, I got something I can take to the con.
Well, there you go.
Glenn is a lifelong purpose to keep me in the show every Friday he's on so we can talk movies. Ha ha! Oh, he is so right.
Sherbet is non-dairy. Oh, that is true.
Yeah, but it's not clear.
It's clearer. Clear-ish.
Look, I guess I can just drink like what? Vodka or gin and tonic.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Excuse me, I'm going to go for that bourbon whiskey over ice.
no. Gotta be clear.
It's
Vodka.
clearish. It's got color, but you can see through it.
Always drink gin with a mark, kid. They can't tell if you cut it.
Interesting.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies. You know what I just bought today?
What?
Donnie Darko.
Oh my God! Haven't seen that.
I got the Arrow release, which includes the theatrical and the director's cut. I had never seen it.
Damn, that is going back.
I remember when it first came out. He said, "Donnie Darko, wait a minute, isn't there a movie called Donnie Brasco? Is that the same thing?" No, it's not the same thing.
No.
Donnie Brasco's gangsters. This is horror.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Okay, I wanted to do something.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something that I usually do on like my Old Man Grognard videos on how to create a dungeon. We ought to talk about creating dungeons and stuff like that. We haven't talked about that.
No.
And I'll show you my shorthand way of me doing it, whether I've only got an hour to do the game, or if I even prep. Okay, I just randomly took this off of the internet, this dungeon here. It's a 5-room dungeon, okay? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Now, you know, let's assume that this is mine. Okay? I wouldn't make it like this. This is how I'd make it. That's how I'd make it.
Oh, okay. More like a flow chart.
Yeah, I do a flow chart. It doesn't have to be square. I just got I put like the main entrance is 50 square feet, because I'm assuming 5-foot hexes.
Right.
And then I put up here the rooms the ceilings are 10 feet high. Same with the corridors. And I put how many feet the corridors were. And right here, I just put altar, and there were stairs here. So I put that there. There's a pool right there. And, you know, it's got all the stuff that's on there. Now, I can write all over this.
Right.
Okay. And I can just put notes like 4 goblins in this room. And I could put an X where there's a trap or something like that in the hall. Or even the pool. I can say, okay, water weird in there.
Right.
Type of thing. And this is what I put, like in my GM book. This is how I put them in the GM book. And then when I get to the table, I can translate it back into this in my own way. And the nice thing about this is, see how this one room here is weird, is
Right.
kind of off-putting, I don't have to leave it like that. I can make it into a square room or anything I want. And this, I just put a blob because it's caverns, and I know how many square feet are in there, and that's all you need to do.
Now you see, if your brain can work from that, and I think everybody's brain is wired a little bit differently. I can't work from that.
You can't work from that?
No, I can't. I could work from nothing, and
I mean, I could draw it out on the mat,
no,
like this.
yeah. Well, so what I would do. Oh,
What would you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to find something. How do I do this?
See how I scribbled stuff
Presentation
out?
to share screen. All right. So if I need a dungeon,
Yeah.
this is where I go.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
But here's the thing. I'll clear this. I'll go into it and I'll say, hey, I don't want. Where's the? Hold on. Let me get to the right. I don't want. Hold on. I got to get to the actual. Generate a new dungeon. Okay. And then.
Yeah, I use that too.
Oh, come on.
But if I have the time and I can do it, I will translate it into this.
See, I can't work off that. It just does not work.
To me, GMing is all about
There we go.
triggering my brain.
Well,
I mean, my notes, you see them as a lot of bullet points.
Right.
I have the main story, maybe a couple of sentences, and then bullet points for everything else. And also, I like the fact that I've got enough room where I don't have to really write what's in the room on a separate piece of paper.
Oh, I like everything on one sheet. So, but then I got two sides to a sheet, so I can do that. So, like with this one, I've set this up. My default when I go to this page is I don't have like their blurbs, their descriptions, but I do like to have the rooms numbered, so I can go through and start figuring. Now, it says the Shrine of the Shaman, or of Shamia, whatever. If I liked it, or else I'll grab out the Tome of Adventure Design and try to find something that I usually find for me. I need a good hook. I need something that.
So do I.
That sounds like it's going to be an exciting adventure. And once I know the hook, I try to find a theme and a big bad evil guy. And then once I know my big bad evil is going to be the cult leader, like I used at Shire-Con, then I can massage it backwards. Now, if I'm really stuck for time, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to run something later on today, what I will do, and I'm not gonna, I'm not endorsing this, especially not commercially, but I could take a map from One Page Dungeon, drop it in Chat GPT, give it like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, yada yada yada, and I want it to be evil cultists, and I need a big bad evil guy that will challenge the party.
Or can you drop things like that into Chat GPT?
You can drop the map. And
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until recently. You can drop the map in, and I can say, write me an adventure for swords and wizardry, using cultists and whatever else, whatever themes you want. And say it's for levels 1 to 3, 2 to 4, and it will give you something that is about 70% there. Now, I say it's 70% there. It's got some interesting pieces, and it's got a lot of dead wood. And then you go through and
get out the dead wood.
Right, you take out the dead wood. You graft some new pieces into it, like working on a rose bush. And you graft onto and you get something that is definitely usable. Or you just use it almost like the Tome of Adventure Design, and you say, give me 20 adventure titles for Swords and Wizardry game and a synopsis where you have to. So it'll give you some weird ass plots, but maybe one or two you can
So
expand
quick.
upon. That's
Yeah.
what I think AI is meant to be as a tool. It is supposed to give you hints. It's supposed to give you inspiration, especially when it comes to the writing. It's not
Mhm.
supposed to gurgle out a final piece, but that is what Watsy wants in the end.
Right.
Oh, you have a question, Glenn?
Playing a dungeon, do you work out the backstory? Do you even do one? Yeah, I want at least to acknowledge a backstory. If somebody came to me and said, we want you to run a game next, in an hour," then I will come up with some kind of backstory, even if it's very simple. Because I'm not going to say story is all, because I like, fighting and exploring and other stuff too, and rolling the dice. But I want something to work off of. I need a starting point, and that's what it is. I don't really like dungeons for the sake of dungeons. I got a dungeon. Let's run it. No, I'm not going to plop them right in the middle. I want to put some story around it. There was a one-page dungeon that I carry around with me called was it the Haunted Monastery or something like that, where a monastery in the swamp, no, it gets taken over by lizard men or something like that because near the swamp. No story, just here's the monastery, here's what's in it, go. Fine. Beautiful. I love that. I came up with a backstory about a cleric. I think they had something like a cleric who got turned into some kind of beast monster by some kind of weird necromancer, alchemist, or something like that. So I took that and I ran with it. I gave him a brother. I gave him a brother in a tavern nearby who was getting drunk because he thought they killed his brother, and he had to go run for help. By the time he came back, the whole place was infested, and the people who went in there, most of them got killed. So he went back to the tavern to drown in sorrows, and that's where the players find him.
Right.
And that's the premise right there. The backstory, I could probably come up with something about it being there for at least 5 generations of monks, and it belonged to pick out a deity. Okay, the monks are this, stuff like that. I can throw stuff together, which I love. I mean, that time I ran the index card RPG for Matt's group in my own world, and I came up with probably 3/4 of the plot on the drive over, which was about 40 minutes. And then I just sat down before anybody. I usually get there early, so I sat down and I go, okay, let's flesh this out a little. Da, da, da. And I was ready to go at 7:00. Game started at 7. I was there at 6:30. I was ready to go. And I did that, and it scared me. It actually scared me. It's like, that was way too easy. Something's going to go wrong. But no, they loved it. They loved it. Now, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I've never been known for being a humble man. So
never too humble to start.
Yeah. But I bet I could do it again.
Don has a question. Do you worry about setting up the dungeon for the level of the players, or do you just wing it in the game?
I'm going to say wing it. I have a problem of I run way too many one-shots.
Excuse me.
It's hard for me to get people together for a campaign. I don't know why, and then my games always end up like level 1 to 3.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever been beyond that very much. I think I got my last Hyperborea campaign. Everybody got to level 10, and that's a 12 level cap on that game. 10-ish. I mean, Gage still won't forgive me for not getting us to 12 so he could get his Pegasus. So, but that's as far as I got it. Anyway.
Well, you see, like most of the games that I run these days are at conventions.
Yeah,
so when you're running a convention game, when you're designing the adventure, you kind of have to get things that are, you have to time it. You
Yeah.
have to get a good estimation for the time slot, and you don't know how your player's going to go. Like so on Friday, last Friday when I was running the session, uh, my players, when they went to the abandoned old manor house, um, well, they and I mentioned that there was an old cemetery there with graves that were dug up in the last 6 months or so. Well, they wanted to now explore the cemetery, which is great. I hadn't planned that, but you wing it. They want to go tracking.
Right.
You wing it. They found two sets of tracks, one undead, or one seemed very skeletal, and one seemed more boot-like. So they had an extra encounter that I hadn't planned on by following the skeleton went to a mausoleum, and then they followed the other tracks to an entrance to the dungeon. But I had thought they were going to do it a certain way. I didn't think they were going to burn the shrubbery over the opening to the dungeon, which doesn't do anything but cause burning shrubbery to fall into the entrance to the dungeon and let the guards know. So as they're trying to figure out what they're doing, I'm telling them, you hear a bell. Then you hear chimes. And I go, the cleric realizes that the chimes sound more religious in nature, like they're going to sacrifice something. So now their time chart has moved. But now I'm also moving everything in the adventure because the party isn't hidden. The party isn't surprising. The party is being frontal assault, essentially. And I find, this is just me at convention games, I don't want to kill anybody off unless they're a total idiot or an asshole in the first half of the session. It's an unwritten rule because they paid to go to the con. They signed up for your session. They should get at least a half a session.
That's a problem I find with cons because, like, say, Bad Mike's B1 game. I've gotten killed more than enough times in his game at the con.
Yeah,
that's what I like about it. Maybe because you're not going to an OSR convention, you're going to a regular convention. Playing OSR there or running OSR.
Well, it's an OSR. It's ShireCon. It's an OSR convention, but I have no problem killing off party members. I don't.
Right.
I don't like killing them off by random dice in the first 30 minutes of the session because that, especially when you're playing with a mixed group of different ages, and listen, you or I can handle that fine. I'll laugh it off, but I'd rather listen. If it's a 3-hour session, once we hit like an hour and 15, all bets are off. If you act stupid, all right, if you decide that you're kicking in every door, all bets are off. But if the party is acting halfway smart, I will generally fudge things behind the screen before. But the second half of the game, all those dice are out in the open because I'm not fudging. Now it's become very much real.
Right.
Now, home campaigns are totally different. All those dice are out in the open for the most part, except like random encounter dice.
When you have an old school game where you can drop a character in 5 to 10 minutes, yeah, there's going to be a lot of death.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to have to stop a game session at a convention for 8 or 9 players because one player died early on through no fault of their own, and now I got to help them generate another character.
You know what's a good thing to do at convention games if you're worried about that? Sure they have hirelings. Because I've seen it. Even Liz did it once in Mike's game. Your character died? Well, take that hireling there. All of a sudden, he's a player character.
Well, in my party, since I'm using Swords with Your Light, one character had a high charisma and basically had a retainer. and that was Jeff Talanian's daughter, Sky.
Okay.
And she got to the point, God bless her, she's a gamer. She wanted to know if she could have her. Again, she was a cat. She was a magic user. So I was like, okay, this is your apprentice. Can my apprentice open up doors and walk down the hall in front of us? I went, no. Good try. Good try. But no, no, no. They are not and don't be offended if you're Polish. They're not Polish minesweepers, as we used to joke. You're not allowed to do that. They do have a little self-preservation does take effect even with NPCs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, another reason why I do it this way is I don't need graph paper. I can just do this on a regular sheet of paper. I don't always have graph paper, so it's like, here, give me a sheet of paper. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we'll translate. I'll translate it when we get in the game. See, I want to. I've told you this before. I prep and I prep and I prep, then I stop because I got to come to a point where I go, okay, that's enough prep. Everything else is going to happen at the table. I expect anything to happen at the table,
right?
Because I'm ready for it. I try to be ready for it.
Now, are you ready because you prepped, or you ready because you improv?
I feel confident in my improv abilities, but I also want some foundation for it.
Okay.
Which means I've got this information here. I know where the story's going. Okay, fine. Yes, I'm going to let they have free agency. That's why I said I'm ready for anything.
At a convention game, you got to be ready for everything.
Oh yeah, well, I do that in any game.
I know, but
to me, it's fun.
Well, yeah, but if you're running for your regular group, you kind of know, generally speaking, more often than not, what decisions they're going to make.
In Hyperborea, if they're going to stop in the desert and camp, and I roll a random encounter, and it's basically a male camel getting it on with a female camel in the pen, and they go handle it. It's like, okay, I was just going to say, okay, this happens. It's all night. I don't know if you get any sleep, but so the mage goes over and says, okay, we got to castrate him. So he whips a sleep spell on the camel and cuts his off.
Yeah, my balls.
Anyway. Next time I read that for Matt. I read that for Matt's group, and I said that happened, but it happened during the day, and one of the male camels was getting randy with one of the female. Unfortunately, our benefactor was on said female camel, so you can imagine what had happened. No, I expect anything. Like my very first Gangbusters game at North Texas was a 2-parter. Okay. And I had like 12 pages, maybe more of stuff, because I wasn't used to that game. I wasn't used to how you build a Gangbusters game. And so I overdid it. I over-prepped. This is one of the reasons why I do what I do now, because I over-prepped. It was a 2-part thing. One, they were supposed to stop a shipment of booze coming down from Canada on the river, and there was a barn, and there was a farmer who let them, it was a deserted barn or something like that, but they were using it out there. And another one was they found this, and anybody who plays in Jason's game, don't listen. There was another one was they found this real estate developer who had been trying to get anybody to listen to his real estate scam. This lawyer found dead in one of the plots. He had, the signs that say this plot, da 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 da. He was impaled on it. And then they find another body in the river in a barrel. And it's basically this guy named the Dutchman. He was a hitman for the local mob. And he goes rogue. And so they got to track him down in an abandoned mine outside of town. And there's some kind of fight. Well, okay, I figured that's the way it's going to go. Okay, we play it, and God bless them, the Austin group. That's where I first met them. They did a great job, but they did it backwards. First they took out the guy in the mine, then they went over and busted the bootleggers. And
No.
it's like I even added something, and I had in the back of my mind that I did with the bootlegger thing, and it worked out. And everybody had a ball. I had a ball. So that's when I started thinking about not prepping as much as I do,
Right.
because I need that elbow room. It also keeps me in line from not doing any kind of railroading. Okay, look, I've come to the conclusion, I said this on one of my YouTube videos a long time ago, that railroading, bad.
Right.
Plot hooks, good. What I'm saying is, if they pick up on the plot hook, okay, and they don't have to say, we're going to do this, but you can always tell that they're going to go do it. As a GM,
Right.
But to me, it's like, okay, you bought into it. I'm now going to run the adventure. And if one of them says, or they all decide, okay, we're going to, this other thing over here is fast. Okay, fine, I'll switch it over there. I mean, they're called plot hooks for a reason. I've also said that if anybody wants to split the party, I'm okay with that. If any one character wants to go off by themselves, unless it's related to what they're doing, I'm not following you. Don't expect me to follow you. Don't expect me to give you anything to do. If you decide to go like the
Wait.
thing, I want to get drunk.
It's not
If you
about
want,
me.
yes,
I thought it was
yeah,
all about me.
that's what I'm saying. It's basic. I said it's basically majority rules.
All right.
Okay?
So Glenn, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right, because again, and I'm gonna and this applies to convention games or one shots.
Well, I'll get back to this point in a minute, but go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
I'm listening.
Again, you have a time frame. Do
Right.
you have a 4-hour time frame? It's 3 hours and 15 minutes into your session. Your party is not going to get to the climax, the big bad evil guy, unless you move the big bad evil guy to the next room that they enter, whether it's got that room or not, or you suddenly go, "Hey, we're going to move you to the final encounter." I mean, I'll move the big bad evil guy's encounter up to make sure they experience it.
I have no problem doing that either.
Okay.
Especially if you're like reaching, say, you got a 5-hour slot and you're reaching hour number 4.
Yep.
And then people start saying things like, okay, I got to leave in a half an hour. I got to leave as soon as we're done, or whatever, because I got another game. I got to go, or lunch or dinner, or whatever. I said, okay, we are going to expedite this. I've knocked whole levels out of dungeons just to get them to where they need to go.
I mean, I don't tell them that I'm doing that. I just do.
No.
Yeah.
No. Although there was one game I ran, I was running a Savage Worlds game that somebody made online did a PDF of converting 1E AD&D stuff to Savage Worlds. And this is why I don't really want to game on a Saturday night, because when we got there, including me, we were there. I had a table full of exhausted players.
Yes.
And I was pretty exhausted. So it got to the point where it was like hour 3, and it's like I'm looking around the table, and it's like, okay, guys, you want to get to the climax? Okay, I'll put you in the climax. I mean, it was like a consensus thing. Yeah, okay, fine.
And by the way, and now Glenn brings up a very good point. If you're at a convention, and I think we've all done this. I did this my first North Texas, because I was 2 decades removed from my last convention, and I signed up for almost every available time slot. Didn't leave open slots, and by the time Saturday night came around, Hey, Dave. By the time Saturday night came around, we were all exhausted. Our GM, our favorite, our fellow players, we were supposed to play Dallas the RPG, and it didn't happen. When your GM goes, "Listen, I'm exhausted," and you all go, "Oh yeah, me too." You want to move this to the bar, get some food, drink, just chew the shit. Yeah, yeah, let's do that. So my unwritten rules is I avoid any game slots that start before 8 o'clock,
Hmm.
prefer before 9 o'clock. Right? It's like nine. At nine, I can get up and get some food in me and get to the game. I don't play in anything that ends past 8, and I try not to do more than 2 games per day, whether I'm running or playing, because especially if you are somebody who socializes. I
Oh yeah.
social.
Oh yeah.
Glenn socializes. You know,
I can't
we
help it. At cons, I can't help it.
yeah. So
Keeps me from spending all my money in the dealer's room.
well, that too. But when you're a socializer,
Hmm.
you got to build that time in. Otherwise, all your socializing comes after midnight, and then you're getting no sleep, and then it becomes really really painful. So, little free advice: if you're going to your first convention this year or next year, um, pace yourself. Okay,
Always.
you
Always.
don't run a marathon. You don't do a 26-mile marathon the moment you learn how to walk. Okay, you don't do it.
Hmm.
You got to pace yourself and realize too. And I think this is even more important today than it was when I went to Gen Con back in '94.
Yeah.
Build in that socialization time because of social media, because of things like this YouTube channel and Glenn's podcast. You get to know people that you may not have met in physical meet space, and then you see them at a con and you want to talk to them. You better build some time into that, because I'll tell you right now, I build time in for that. You know, I try to pace myself. I mean, Glenn, Glenn will probably laugh because he realizes it's true. But Glenn, at North Texas, do I have an unofficial area to hang out at?
No,
Actually, I do. And it's across from the ladies' room. Not because it's the ladies' room,
you're
because
right.
you got seating out there. As
Yes, you
people are
do.
walking in, and if I'm gonna eat lunch and those seats are available, Rachel and I will sit right there, because people are going to walk by and they get a chance. Oh, I watch your videos. I know that voice. I know that face. Hey, I've been following the blog since 2015. Whatever. I want to be there to see those that are part of my community. That's why I go to conventions. The gaming is fun. The gaming is great. I had a great
Oh,
time.
you want the adulation.
Not with the adulation, but I want to
Well,
actually.
I do.
Oh, I want to actually shake the hands and put faces
Right.
to people in my community. Oh, you're so and so in the chat. Now I know. Now I got a face. It's part of the reason why I do the Thursday night Discord hangouts.
You
I
still
get
do
to,
that?
yeah, we still do it. I've missed I guess 2 this summer / fall. One, because we had such an amazing troll with Don, Tom, and myself on the live stream beforehand. I couldn't get out. I was laughing my ass off with our uh, talented troll. I couldn't, and then I was exhausted. But no, I like to do those because they are simply a great way for me to connect to the community,
Yeah.
whether it's the taverns community or the gamers beyond, and I think it's special. Um,
Yes, you're right.
yes, Matthew, you're free to catch up later, sir.
Well,
Oh, Mike, don't have to yell at us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I played in some Sunday morning. Well, not morning, afternoon games, but.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, by the way,
Yeah.
speaking of adulation, let me tell you what happened last week. I was on Facebook and somebody did a D&D meme about 5th edition versus, I don't remember, OSR versus 5th edition. And then somebody reposted it, correcting it to 4th edition or 4th to 5th edition. And I just wrote, same difference. Next thing you know, I'm getting a reply by, I think, the guy who put the meme up there saying, wow, we got a response from a superstar.
Superstar.
And of course, when I see that, I go like this.
Me.
Huh?
Huh? Me?
Who came
Me?
in?
The
You know?
superstar?
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, okay, yeah, don't play Sunday morning games. Here's my advice to people who haven't been to cons. I was told this advice by my friend Corey Gelnut. I always want to say Gelnut. Corey, who used to be sometimes on Deco's Hammer, but he told me the first North Texas I went to, which I think was 2011. And he told me, do yourself a favor. What? Don't run anything. Don't even think of running anything. Go to the con, play what you can, talk to people. Then the next year, think about running something. And I said, that's some of the best advice I ever got about going.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Get your feet grounded before you start running games.
Right.
Matthew, first time this past year, played 3 games each day. Lesson learned. Wore me out. Yes.
It will.
I did that at GaryCon. Not sorry, GaryCon. Gen Con back in '94. And oh my God, it was amazing. But that's part of the reason why a lot of people get sick of conventions too, is that you wear yourself down. You're excited to be there. Like now at ShireCon, I ran a game. There were 2 game sessions on Friday. I ran 1 game. There were 3 sessions on Saturday. I played in 2. And actually, I was only signed up for 1. Rach and I were signed up for the Shadow Dark game by Ian, but Bob Goodnow was running a Paranoia game and wanted some extra players. And Rach and I were happy enough to jump in. That was great. But even that, we kind of wrapped that game up a little bit early because technically the slot had like maybe an hour to go, but they were already closing down the con. So, that's part of how you work around that too.
I still remember the year that Gage forced me to stay in a game past con closing on Sunday. We didn't get out of there till like 7:30 back home, going home.
Okay.
Because it's like he wanted me to play in this game. We haven't played a game all weekend. We haven't been in a game. And I said, we're in a game every week. Why do we need to be in a
game together? Yeah.
Yeah, game together. We always game together. And it's like, no, we got to play this 5e game with me. Said, oh, okay, fine. And every time it got about 5 o'clock and Mike started coming around, making sure that, what's going on and everything's closing and all this other stuff. And it's like, I keep getting Gage, but he's not done. Gage, we got to go. I have like a 2.5-hour drive. Come on.
You got to go, man. It's time.
You got to go.
Pull the plug. So Don wants to know, directed at Bad Mike, myself, and Glenn, why not set up a game for Sunday morning?
Well, I would ordinarily say, because that's when we record Deco's Hammer, but that gets really hard to do with all our schedules. So who knows? I'm open.
No, but the reason why you don't set up a game for Sunday morning, like you don't want to jump on the Sunday morning slot, go, oh, great. 8 o'clock on Sunday morning is open. I'll run my Tomb of the Full Bladder on Sunday morning. Because what's going to happen? 8 people will sign up. 2 will be there at 8 o'clock. And one will stumble by at around 8:45, apologize, and then wander off. All
Yeah,
right?
about right.
Uh-oh. Mike.
I don't know. I don't know how we did this, but Matt's game I used to play on Saturday, he started at 10 o'clock.
Really?
And I said, 10 o'clock, that's, anybody going to get up to this? Yeah, they all come. It's just that's the only time that anybody can agree on. So, sometimes it's just scheduling. It's just, this is the time we have to do it. Everybody else is, I'm adjusting my camera. Everybody else is, booked up. So, okay, you do what you can do, You know about scheduling. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Coach, I'm ready to say.
Put me in.
Hey.
I'm ready to play. Hey.
Mike has a story. Well,
Oh.
Mike, you got an invite. If you
All right. Yeah, we'll see what Mike looks like on here. Probably ugly. Same, ugly as usual.
All right, hold on.
Hey. With that badass background.
Hey guys. Hello.
Hey.
Glenn got me on the show because he talked about, or actually, whoever asked the question about the game. So let me tell you.
Well,
why
I said the magic word, Ginny D, and you appeared.
No, why you guys need to leave me alone about that? Come on, man. I'm a happily married man.
He's gonna show up and say, "Leave Jimmy D alone."
Leave her alone.
Anyway,
she's got blue hair. She's cute. Just leave her alone.
This week. Anyway,
wait. 80-year-old ladies have blue hair, man. What are you talking
about? Hey, I swing both ways, both ends of the spectrum.
Oh wow!
I'm not getting anywhere near you anymore.
So Doug and I didn't. I mean, I had been going to cons since the early '80s, and Doug didn't know much about cons. So we're going to fill up every slot with games, right? Because people are going to want to play all the time. So about our second or third con, we had it's either second or third. We had a bunch of Sunday morning games planned, and I'm talking like 9 o'clock Sunday morning.
Hell, Doug ran one.
8 or 9. This is year 2 or 3. So we had, and I don't remember who it was running the game. I want to say it was John Hirschberg, it could have been somebody else, and literally no one showed up for the game. And not only that, so then we start noticing that everybody that scheduled a game that early, nobody showed up. I think Eric, you said it perfectly. Like one guy had like 2 people show up, and then somebody stumbled in an hour later and was still hangover, and then another one, like 2 people stumble in 2 hours later, like, man, we just forgot about it and this and that. But we quickly learned that the excesses of Saturday night bleed into Sunday morning. And yes. Not only that, but if you're at a convention like ours, now back then we didn't game on Wednesday night. We just game Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But if you game all day Thursday and all day Friday and all day Saturday, you are beat. You are beat by Sunday, and Sunday
evening you are beat.
And you're having a little, you have a little drinky poo, and you cannot get up in time for a Sunday morning game. It's just not happening. So. And that's when we learned, because this poor guy, like I said, it was John. He's like, man, nobody showed up for my game. Like, not one person. We're like, what? And so we're looking like, well, he's supposed to have this person. Let's go find him. We couldn't even find him anywhere. They were all in their rooms asleep. Everybody was just passed out. I mean, it's just, and not only that, you add to Sunday. That's when everybody's leaving. Most people are leaving. Probably 80% of your people are leaving. Yeah. They're not worried about the game, especially if they're kind of running late. They're going to think, I'm supposed to be in a game 8 to noon or 9 to 1. I would, like Glenn was saying, I got to get on the road, right? You were saying, you're like, I got to get on the road. I got to drive home. It's just a bad idea because it doesn't usually work out. Now, Doug used to. Oh, go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
No, I just say you're right. I had like a 2.5 hour drive, and beaver nuggets won't buy themselves.
Very well put, actually. But you got to think. So Doug used to run a game on Sunday, but here's how he did it. It was just show up. It was just like, I'm going to run. Because if you ever played Doug's games, Doug was a master. we used to have arguments because Doug, I'm sorry, was a storyteller gamer. He was not a traditional nuts and bolts guy. He's
It was
told
fun.
stories. You didn't roll dice very often. You're probably not going to die unless you do something really stupid. And of course, I'm diametrically opposed to that. I'm getting ready for my game tomorrow. I've got sheets of notes here. Like Glenn said, I'm prepared. Doug didn't prepare a thing. He just would have a sheet of paper, the rule book, and let's go. And so we would laugh
We even
about
made our own
stuff.
character sheet.
Yeah, he didn't care. So he just would have a game, and this is perfect. Like, hey, I'm going to start this game at 8 or 9 o'clock. Just show up. If you want to show up and jump, you could jump in. NPC, he would have a whole bunch of little scenarios he had planned. The players would get to the bar or whatever. They'd choose what scenario they want to do. They'd run off and do it. Anybody that showed up could jump in. That's the kind of game you have to have Sunday. If you're going to do anything structured on Sunday, you have to think about all the things we just talked about. The fact that people are tired, they're not getting up early. You're not going to get their best game, right,
No.
Eric? I mean, you're going to get like roll. Oh, God, yawn. Oh, my head. Oh, I've got to get something to eat, guys. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I've got to get something to eat and maybe a Diet Coke. And that's what you're going to get all night, all day. And it's just not going to be an optimal gaming experience. Now, we've actually had a lot of luck running Sunday afternoon games. Because, like I said, there's about you guys. Okay, yeah, Sunday afternoon. Because, like I said, about 80% of the people leave, but 20% stay, and those 20%, that's usually Eric. People like Eric and I, we always stay late. We're like, hey, we'll stay through Monday.
We'll play a few hours and go. Yeah.
People are leaving Monday. Like, hey, yeah, I'll do something. Yeah, let's get together and do something Sunday afternoon. I've even been in Sunday night games because it's like, hey. Like one year, we had a bunch of people. We still had a boardroom through the weekend. We had Zeb Cook had stayed for some reason overnight, and we're like, hey, somebody was running a game upstairs with the boardrooms. I went up there and hung out. Zeb played the game. I can't even remember who was running it now. We had a blast. I didn't even play. I was just watching, laughing because it was one of those games like it's the end of the con. We don't give an F. We're just going to go in and do whatever crazy thing we can. And Zeb was like playing along with it too, and he was having a great time.
I was
for the most part. I'm just going to say, gaming on Sunday is I would not schedule very many games on Sunday unless
you don't.
Unless that you're going to get a dedicated group of people that are going to stay through Monday, and they want something to do, not go out to eat. We used to back in the old days. When we were at the old Marriott, there was a movie theater right next there. We used to go see a movie Sunday night. Everybody was left over. I remember one year seeing one of the new Star Treks, one of the Chris Pine Star Treks. I mean, we would go see a movie because we're like, hey, we're all set. One year we saw one of the new Alien prequels. Because we're just like, what are we doing? We're not doing anything. Hey, let's see a movie.
Here's a story about Doug. This was when you were still at the Marriott. I remember one Sunday I was like, okay, I'm all packed. I'm going around saying bye to everybody. And Doug says, come here. He's getting ready to run a game. And I said, yeah, what the hell? I can play for a bit. And so I sit down, we make the character sheets, and I make a cleric or something like that. I play for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, but I was getting too antsy. I got to go. Con's over. I got to go. And so Doug didn't worry about it. It's like somebody else will play your character. All right. See you next year, Glenn, blah, blah, blah. And next year, I don't know if it was Bill Barsh or somebody else saying, yeah, I played your character last year. It says, that cleric? It says, how'd you know it was my character? His name was Stand Up. What do you think? So that's my Doug D&D story.
Oh, really, Mike? You'd subscribe?
What?
Mike can't hear me now.
But he's getting.
Can you hear me now?
I'm having an issue with the sound.
Hello. I guess not.
I guess not. Well, it's a good thing Mike, you gotta get that headset working by.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't charge after Wednesday's night show, and so it was uncharged. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's flaking out on me. I may have to go headset less here.
Oh, you sound fine.
Sorry, Glenn, I missed your story.
As long as you can hear, it's fine. I stopped using headsets because my speakers decided to work. So
I just do it because of ambient noise. Because sometimes if I'm not here by myself, there's ambient noise in the house. And now that I'm downstairs and Christy's down here and she's got stuff going on, so I try to. But yeah, that's just kind of pro advice if you ever want to talk. We did a lot of interesting con talk on Wednesday night, but that's the one thing I always tell people. You know, the person who schedules a game every session, that's always the big mistake too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna game my brains out, and that lasts all. They have 3 sessions on Thursday and 3 on Friday, and Saturday they start flagging. They're like,
well, that's
I'm gonna skip one of my games Saturday.
That's
Gage. And then Sunday they're like, yeah, I ain't doing this.
Gage never did the midnight on the 15th thing, but he'd go in afterwards and pick up games. And 3 years ago, I said, well, what are you doing for the con? Oh, I got all my games. I said, well, how many are you playing? 7. Oh, yeah, you're 18. Okay, go for it.
Yeah,
You'll learn.
Okay, yeah. Addendum, if you're 21 or younger, it's no issue. You can game. Yeah. You can game every session there is, and not even.
And now you got a girl and a job. I'll bet he gets exhausted playing 2 next year.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing. Like my first North Texas, 2014. That's what I literally did. I think Rich and I were probably in 3 sessions every day. We were in 2 of Matt Finch's done Mythmere adventure Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And Sunday morning we didn't show up. It was an 8:00 game. We didn't roll out of bed to get breakfast until like 9:15, and I had to eat. And Matt saw us because he's like on a break, and he goes, "Eric, Rach, why aren't you in the game?" We're like, "Sorry, Matt, we're done. No can do no more." Because and again, that is when your eyes are too big for the plate in front of you. You know, we talk about that
Eat
sometimes.
with your eyes, as my mom used to say.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you go, I could eat all that, and you start oh man, I really shouldn't eat all that.
Even I know Gage was young, but I just could. It's like he packed his schedule full. I said, "Did you leave any time to eat or anything?"
Yeah, that's always good too, because I think a lot of people that schedule a game every session don't realize all the other things there are to do at conventions, like hang out with special guests, and like you said, go to eat with everybody. Everybody, at least one meal, go eat with a bunch of your friends and hang out, and maybe somebody, a famous celebrity, will meet you there too and hang out. It's just fun, man. Just hang out. If you're doing something, that's one thing I hated about the first few years Doug and I running the con, is that I got no time to actually do anything fun with everybody else because we were so busy. And then once we got bigger and got it down, it wasn't as bad.
I mean, one year, a few years ago, I was eating lunch, and I got to eat lunch with Bruce Hurd. It was great, And
you miss all that stuff off if you're scheduled every session. You miss all that stuff. You miss like, hey, we're all going to go to lunch. You're like, no, I'll just have the serving girls will bring me a sandwich.
I can't give it. In 2014, I had breakfast with Matt Finch one day, Doug Kovacs another day. I mean, this is, and that was with the full schedule. At least I left my mornings open. I was only gaming from like 11 o'clock on.
Right.
But it was until like midnight. I mean, you were always in a slot. But I have learned to leave times open because, like Mike said, you want to shop. You want to walk around.
Oh yeah, you got to walk around the dealer room. Yeah, leave yourself time to go to the vendor or dealer room. I kind of like those cons and working as a vendor. A lot of, especially Game Hole and Gary Con, they shut their vendor room down at 5 o'clock, and I kind of like that because in North Texas we've always had this tradition. Even with Doug just let the dealer room open as long as he was sitting there in front and people could walk in and he was watching people. I kind of like shutting it down early because that gives people a reason. Okay, if I'm going to go to the dealer hall, I'm going to go between 8 and 5, and then after that, I gotta do other things. I gotta play games, or I gotta meet with my friends, and that way that you don't even have the option of the dealer hall after 5, 6 o'clock, and then you actually forces you to go out and do things. Yeah,
you'll be exhausted. I mean, Jeez, I see
I'm getting tired talking to you guys.
My
I'm
philosophy for what?
I'm getting tired just talking about you guys, just thinking about gaming three times a day, every day I was at a con. Oh my God,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. Go for it.
My North Texas philosophy now is, as far as Sundays go, at least, if I see you going into the midnight auction, I know you're not going to be doing anything.
You're not, yeah. If you were running a Sunday morning game and 3 of the people in your Sunday morning game are walking the midnight auction, just go ahead and cross them out on your little pad there. Yeah. And if they show up, bonus. But there's a good chance they're not going to show up because they're not getting out there till 1 o'clock, and then they're going to go to the bar after that, and the bar doesn't close till 3 or 2 or 3. And
there's nothing there to buy anyway. No, I'm sorry.
No, there's nothing. That's no good. You know, but yeah, they're going to be fully involved, and they're probably, if they're hanging around with Matt Roberts for the bar, they're probably already 3 sheets to the win because Matt likes to get fortified before midnight auction, and some people join him.
Mm-hmm. And I did my drinking Friday night with you and Raish.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that, and I got 3 sheets to the win. That was fun. I didn't have Gage trying to drag me out of the bar.
Grandpa, you're done.
Becky told him to do that this year. You keep him out of the bar. Yes, man. Okay, Nana. He ended up not going. It's like, great.
The bar's fun, man. The bar's fun in North Texas because you go there and there's all these little knots, and you're like, oh, do I need to go to the Tenkar knot? Or here's the Kurt Gould knot over here, or here's the Stefan Picorni knot, and you kind of. So I just kind of cruise around, see what's going on. You know,
it's a lot of fun until Picorni puts on the metal music.
Oh boy.
But Johnny Panic on this past year, right? Blew my mind.
You just got to kind of, drift around and you see where the conversation's going, right? And you see I don't want to really talk about that. Then you go to the next little knot, like, oh, I want to talk about that. And so you end up there and somebody wants to buy you a drink and you're like, yeah, I'll take a drink because there's always somebody buying booze.
We had the artist conclave there too. That was great.
I missed it this year and I'm so upset because I got there at the very, very end. I talked to Chet Minton for a little bit. I love hanging out the artist thing, and I was so mad that I forgot all about it and I was doing something else because that's always fun. That's always fun to see everybody just hanging out and drawing and just talking. It's very low key and low. It's just really awesome. Lloyd does a good job putting that on because he supplies all the stuff, and we have drawing paper and anything you want to draw with, and sometimes Darlene will pop in. I mean, you have some big names that just sit down and like, hey, what's up? One year Elmore just sat there, and you're like, holy crap. Elmore's sketching shit on here. Darlene will sketch shit, and like just give it to somebody. Like, one year, somebody came to the convention just to see Darlene. She loved Darlene. That was like her big influence in life and as an artist. And so we got Darlene to go to the artist meeting, and that girl was there. You knew she's going to be there, and she was like fangirling all over Darlene. Darlene drew her a picture, gave it to her, which just must have made her week,
her year.
Yeah. And so she drew a sketch, and then she put something on the back, like words of encouragement, like hey, keep drawing, or whatever. And then just said, "This is for you." And the girl was just like, "Oh, packed out." It was awesome, but. You gotta leave time for all that stuff. Don't overschedule.
Yeah.
Don't. That's a good idea.
Don't overschedule.
I don't go to the midnight, the 15th. When it opens up, the game registration opens up. I don't go to that anymore at all. Mm-hmm. This last year, I ran my 3 Gangbusters games. That was it. Didn't do any playing or anything.
But some people, I know a couple of people last year that I talked to that go every year, they decided not to run games last year, which I thought was, because they said, what, we're always running games we never get to play. I'm like, it's cons for you too. Just if you feel like and they didn't run any games and they just played and they said they had a great time. They just needed a little break from, oh God, I got to run it. And look, as long as you're not a special guest, you're not required to run games. I mean, we like it that people do. We'd like our special guests to run at least 2 sessions,
Don't worry, I will.
I know you will. I'm not pressuring you here. I know you will.
By the way, being a special guest, when can I don't have anything yet, but when can I put up the games I want to?
I think you can do it now, Glenn. I think Gary's got it open enough to where you can
for special guests.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
All
If
right.
not, just email him and say, "Hey, I just wanted to get in."
I haven't
and
been
start-
doing anything. I haven't doing anything I usually do, like handing him money for the next year or anything
Yeah.
like that.
No.
So,
We got you this year. Don't worry about
but
it.
like I said, I'm not in a hurry because I'm still trying to come up with something.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, look, if people are signing up for games this early, they're aspirational gaming because things will change in the next 6-8 months.
I'm
Things are
going
going
to
to
be seeing
change.
Eric in a couple of weeks. I'll see Jason. Jason
know.
wants me to run a Gangbusters, and
You're
I want
bragging
to do
about that.
I
Bragging
want to do
about seeing Eric.
something, hopefully doing something original that I can actually use to adapt to the con. So they don't know if they're going to be my guinea pigs, I think.
Have you guys noticed? Is this just me, or have you guys noticed that we have had? I think there has been a huge resurgence in gangbusters. I have noticed a lot of people talking about it, not just us, our circle. I mean, I get on Facebook and everybody's talking gangbusters.
Yeah, I know, but Mark getting a publisher, that had a lot to do with it. I know he yanked all his stuff off a drive-through. I don't know why he did.
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
So I'm looking forward. He says the rough copy, or he was right on here. I can't. Yeah, he told me they're going to have a beta copy ready in around December. So I said, "You want it?" It's like, hell yes.
Well, I'm glad the game's getting a little love now. Like I said, I'm seeing more people talk about that game because I didn't see people talk about it for a long time. It was the redhead stepchild of TSR games, you know?
I mean, if we can just get Mark to come back. I mean, he was great. He ran Gangbusters. He ran his Tall Tales, I played in the Western one. It was fun. That was a hoot. I mean, I don't think I should ever be a gunslinger who wants to run sheep through the town anymore, but it was still fun.
Afraid to ask, Glenn. Afraid to ask. People are talking about.
We ended up helping the sheep farmers, and you know how that went down.
I don't want to know, Glenn.
All the cattle guys are all.
It's jokes with sheep and cowboys. I'm not going to go there.
No.
People are talking about gangbusters like gangbusters.
Okay.
Of course.
Just a horse is another color.
Absolutely right. I got to get a haircut. Anyway, just a side note. Hey, by the way, Mike, look what I got today.
Oh, okay.
Always got, at least I got to say something movies every time Mike's here.
All right, sure. Oh yeah, I saw it, Donnie Darko, and you said you'd never seen it, which is odd because it's a cult classic. It's it's a weird movie, dude. It's a weird movie.
You know, as far as horror goes, I like the classic horror, but the more modern horror, I like something more disturbing than horrific.
And you know, that's
that
weird
gets in my head.
I know people classify that as a horror movie, but it's a weird horror movie. It's not your regular type of horror. It's horrible because of the things that are going on and the fact that everything's very inevitable. What's going to happen? It's not horror because there's people jumping out and going, "Whoa!" And there's not guys,
no jump
guys trying to, there's no guys trying to stab you. It's not like Scream or something. It's just a horror because it's just weird and everything happens isn't normal. It's not.
I got
right.
I got the theatrical cut and the director's cut on here.
Did you watch it already, or have you watched it?
No, it just came in today.
I won't spoil it. No spoilers.
It's a 4K. I'm going to have to watch this during the week.
It's the very, very thin, very small niche of horror time travel, if that will mean anything to you, and you'll see what it means when you watch the movie.
And the Arrow one is new. This is from Arrow. Here's something else I got from Arrow. You ever seen this? The Lighthouse?
Yeah, that's not the one with who's got in there?
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's very atmospheric. That's a very atmospheric.
You talk about disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's very good, but it's very atmospheric. Defoe does a great job in that movie. Yeah, Defoe does an excellent job in that movie.
Oh, if it's anything like The Lighthouse, I'll probably like it.
It's weird. It's Donnie Darko. It's just weird, man. I'm just telling you, you just got to get. It's not going to remind you of anything you've seen before. And what's cool is,
I love this kind of.
It came out about 20-something years ago. It's got Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal when they're really young.
Oh, yeah. Patrick
Who
Swayze.
else is in it?
Says Patrick.
Yeah,
Swayze.
there's a few. He's in it. He's a character. Young Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen. Wow.
Young Drew Barrymore. Yeah, it's weird, man. There's a lot of names
Seth
that movie.
Rogen's in it. Wow.
Yeah. He appears as. I don't think I can't remember his. Yeah, he's in there.
And one thing I like.
Ricky.
This is one of the main reasons I'm starting to get 4K, is the fact that these are not region locked. No 4Ks are region locked.
Oh, good.
So I can get a release from like Britain, and it'll play. So yeah, I think they just gave up on the region locking. It's like, this isn't working out.
Yeah, that's just that. I agree. That's just dumb, man. Region lock stuff's just it's like, yeah, it's just an impediment. It's stupid.
Dirty sheep done dirt sheep.
It's
Gosh, 30 months of Ginny.
What other advice?
Talking about
what advice do we have for con? What other advice do we have for con goers besides don't schedule games on Sunday and don't overschedule?
Don't get kicked out.
When you do your scheduling, but when you do your scheduling, take into account getting food.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to see you chowing down at the table. You should have at least one meal that's a sit down. I don't care if it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. When I say sit down, it could be sitting down in the hallway, but not everybody wants to see you slobbering over whatever, a burger or Mexican dish in front of everybody else who's also hungry.
And it can be disruptive too. To the
Yeah.
Mr. Gunn says good shoes. That's a good idea.
Okay.
You're going to be walking a lot.
Yes, good shoes.
Yeah, yes.
That wizard, that bastard.
Running it at the Wizard Con.
Oh well, it's BX. How could he screw that up? It's BX.
I'm trying to think.
Yes, comfortable. In fact, I've gotten these. I bought these for the trip to New York, but they'll come in. These Skechers. I've broken them in. It's one of those slip-ons.
Yes.
Although I can't do that because I'm old, so I just sit down and put them on. But mainly for like the airport. Got to take your shoes off at the airport. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, good shoes. Well, you know what? Bring cash is a good idea, because this year at North Texas was the first year I've seen practically all the vendors can take cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the last few years it was like cash only.
They'll
have that square.
Yeah, most hotels, most venues will have a cash machine. Even the VFW for ShireCon had a cash machine. However, don't bank on there being a cash machine that you can use. I know with the hotel with North Texas, there have been times when the cash machine is empty because there's potentially hundreds of people looking to get cash out.
Oh yeah.
Just take that into 1 year with North Texas. I had to get a friend to drive me to an ATM. So I mean, there are worse things. But if you come with the cash ahead of time, you may not have that issue.
Oh hell yes. Yeah, it's you gotta have the option.
Right. And certain venues. And I'm not just talking Gen Con, but I'm even talking Gary Con or Game Hole. There are often significant walks between locations. When there's significant walks between locations, think about what you're carrying.
Yeah.
And how far you're going. All right. So if you don't have a hotel room on scene or a car where you can put stuff in your trunk, you sometimes have to balance things out ahead of time. So I'm just mentioning that because generally speaking, I like to be at the venue when possible. ShireCon, that's not possible because it's a VFW, but you have your car trunk. All right. But if you're at some other place where a game hall has a lot of hotels nearby, you might not be in the one there. Walking 10 minutes to your hotel to drop off the bag of what you just bought,
That'll kill you.
It'll be a pain in the ass.
Oh,
Just take the stuff into
it'll
account.
kill you. I swear to God. I've been there before. Origins, San Jose. Yeah, it's just plan just plan better. Plan your time.
Yeah.
Some of the kids really need to know that. And nothing wrong with bringing your own food either.
No.
I do it. I bring an ice box to have some stuff in there, not just drinks. I remember back in California when I do the cons, I had to get an ice chest, and there's a chain of sandwich shops there called Togo's, which are absolutely wonderful. So I go there and I get, say, a turkey and cheese or a meatball or whatever, and ask them to cut it into 5 pieces. And then I'd go home and Ziploc those 5 pieces and put them in the ice box and have them to eat. Have a little turkey and cheese right there at the table. Another hack is drinks. Okay, most, if not all cons, hotels have ice water. There's always like pitcher's ice water, the ice water dispenser, whatever. Get yourself a jar of Country Time, Kool-Aid, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then take the glass, take the pitcher, put it in the pitcher, boom, you got drink.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're staying in an Airbnb, you got a refrigerator, you can do your own meals.
That too.
Last year we stayed at an Airbnb for ShireCon, which was very nice. But the best part was, hey, I'm going to drive back from ShireCon, break out my wine. No, I'm not driving afterwards, and just relax after the con.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be cheaper. Now, we were lucky at the VFW at ShireCon this year, $4 bottles of beer is pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable.
Is it? I don't know. I don't drink all that much.
For bars, yeah. New York bars, you're looking at probably $7 a bottle.
Now, wait a minute. We just went over to don't eat at the gaming table. I think the GM can be an exception to that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying don't eat at the gaming table, but don't make it a spread. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a hamburger, or a sandwich, or some snacks, or
if you're going to eat at the gaming table, honestly, be prompt and quick about it. Okay, Finish your food, throw it away. Okay, don't just. I'm going to nibble at it throughout the 3 hours of the fucking show, or of the session, and then you leave it. And this is my pet peeve. If you're the fucking asshole that leaves your shit on the table at the end, you're going to get a beating next time.
Oh boy, yes.
I can't. I just
take
can't.
You outside. My 57-year-old me will give you a fucking beating. Clean as
and
my
67-year-old me wants to show up to watch it.
Clean up after yourself. All right, clean up after your ass. It isn't that hard. There's garbage pails everywhere within walking distance at all these venues.
Just bust your own place.
Right. Okay. The next group coming to the table is not there to clean the table and take away your garbage.
You say all this, people don't think we're just nitpicking. No, there's some people just leave an absolute dark.
Right. They somehow think their mother's going to come behind their ass and pick up after them. And here's the secret. Between game sessions, there is minimal time. Oh, here's a good one. Know, especially if you're the GM, know when your game session is over and wrap up at least 15 minutes before that time stops. Because that next table is coming out there and they don't want to have to sit around watching your ass as you clean up your shit and pack it all away. And now you're over the time and the next GM is going, I'm losing time in my session. Be out of there a 1:45. If your session ends at 12, 11:45, 11:50, be out of that seat and be walking on to your next one. And that's the other thing too. Your players in my session, right? If my session ends at noon, their next session begins at noon. You got to build in time for them to get there. Don't be that asshole. It's not that hard. I told Donna, we could do a whole episode on this. We probably
when I'm being a GM, I don't really care about people being on time because usually I have stuff to do beforehand. I don't have everything exactly set up. But and also because my attitude as far as GMing has gone at the cons has changed. My advice, if you're running a game, and this is kind of depends on the game system. If you're running something more complicated, like second, third, fourth, fifth edition, or Traveler, or Champions, or Pathfinder, or whatever, pre-gens.
Yeah. We talked about that. We had a long talk about that Wednesday night about pre-gens. Yes.
This is why I run simple systems.
Right.
And so I used to make like every year for the Gangbusters, I'd make like 20 pre-gens. In fact, I made 20 one year and use them for the next 2 years. And finally last year, it's like, why am I knocking myself out? You can make a character in 5 to 10 minutes. Screw it. The first hour we're making characters because it ain't going to affect the time in my slot. So now I have people make characters at the game, because it's easy. But if you got a more complicated game, you're going to have pre-gens. There's nothing you can do about it. Mike's B1 game, you have all the pre-gens right there. And that's a simple game. I'm always playing some weird ass guy that Mike came up with.
They're not people I came up with. They're actual NPCs in the back of B1, which include the names of those people too. So
I have a sheet in one of my DM prep books that is like, I think it's 3 sheets stapled of, I took all the pre-gens of the B1 basic D&D modules. I went through every module, took out the pre-gens and got them in one sheet. So I'm never lacking for pre-gens. Even for other games. I've taken D&D pre-gens and making Gangbusters pre-gens before, very simple change anyway.
So.
Have fun, damn it.
Well, yeah. Okay. Oh, all right. Here, one last thing. Okay. And I know it's a con game. I know you kind of feel like I can be extra silly. Don't be the asshole. Okay. Don't be remember, even though it's a convention game, you're all there to have fun. All. Keyword, all. Don't hog the action. Don't separate the party at a convention game. All right, because the time slot doesn't change.
Oh boy, yeah.
All right, but honestly, you know what? After Game Hole, we will get together, and I say we, potentially the 3 of us, and I'm going to do something I don't normally do for these live streams. I'll make a list, just bullet points of things to address as a GM, as a player, as an attendee. All right, because there are a lot of things that will come up at Game Hole this year when Mike and Jim are there. They're going to go, oh shit, I didn't think about.
Yeah.
And if you're like a vendor, there are things not to do. Okay, like when you unpack your shit and there's no place to put your empty boxes, don't just put them in like places where people are going to trip over them. Because it isn't just you. But that's another episode. It's a good topic.
And Donald says no chewing and spitting in a bottle. Oh my God!
Not at the table, please. Come on, guys.
I have a friend I was playing a 3rd edition game with here in Oklahoma, and he was the GM, and he chewed. Oh my gosh. He chewed and he used an empty.
Try to keep your bad habits away from the table. Yeah, that's if you wouldn't pick your nose at the table, you don't want to smoke and or chew booze at the table.
I was in their kitchen. I was in their kitchen one time, and somebody, I think his wife, opened the freezer, and he is like chewing tobacco in bulk in the freezer.
You never know. It could be a supply chain issue. God damn it.
Yeah,
so it was.
Here we go. Clean up your shit. All that kind of stuff. Just Just be a DBAD. Don't be a dick. That's
What
Hey.
would Glenn do?
Hey,
What
I just thought of something. I don't
What's
know
it?
why this just passed my brain. We were going to talk about something Wednesday we never talked about. Maybe we should talk about it now.
what's that?
Right.
Eric had said there was some week in gaming stupid that we forgot to get around to Wednesday night. What was that concern?
I have no idea.
Even Eric doesn't remember because
No.
we're doing the show notes beforehand. We're like, oh, we need to talk about this. We'll talk about this. Oh yeah, and Eric goes, oh, we got this week in gaming stupid. I'm like, we do, and you said, yeah, fill in the blank, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll talk about that. And then I don't think we ever covered it.
So fill in the blank for me, Mike. What
Yeah, please.
Don't
Inquiring
know.
minds want to know.
Well, Mike didn't remember either. So
it was
I
some.
probably covered it on a regular video.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not-
probably covered it in a regular video. Yeah,
Oh.
I just remembered that. I thought, oh, man, that's something we could talk about with Glenn. And then I realized when it came out of my mouth that I didn't remember what she said. I'm like, oh, I guess we can't cover it if I don't remember what it
Okay,
was.
here's-
I am the youngest man in the room. Just saying.
Shut up.
Mm.
Shut up.
It's probably
So
leaving.
are you trying to make a point that your brain's still working or that our brains
Yeah.
aren't working? Or what do you think?
My brain
What
still
do you think?
hiccups. All right, I had chemo years ago. I still get chemo brain. Don't worry about it. It's normal.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
It was so stupid that it changed the time-space continuum, and now that moment's been erased from just reality. It was that stupid. So we'll never know what it was because it's been
It happens
erased.
on YouTube all the time. But I got one.
all right.
Okay. They always have that blurb in cons saying, remember to bring the games you want to play and all the accessories and whatever. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we go to conventions, right? To not only to game with people we like and game
Right.
with new people, to meet new people, but to try games we don't really usually get to try.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But if you're packing for a con, especially if you're flying, whittle the games you want to play. I'm talking as a player now, maybe as a GM, but as a player too. Whittle it down to 2, maybe 3 game systems. And that's it.
All right.
Now, I know as a GM, you have to bring more prep with that, like your notes and all this other stuff. But you do yourself a favor. Plus, you have more room for like bringing stuff home, books and stuff. But believe me, I've been there. I went to Gamma Trade Show. I almost didn't get on the plane because I was 10 pounds over. So, and even if you drive, it's like I used to take one of these plastic bins we had out here that we used to move and stuff them like 2/3 full of games I wanted to play, and I never played them, or I wanted to run, and it was just a waste of space. So do yourself a favor, figure out what games you want to play, and just bring those.
All right. I'm going to take it even smaller than that.
Okay.
All right. If you're a player playing games that you probably don't need to bring the rules. My suggestion. I played in Shadow Dark. I didn't bring the Shadow Dark rules. I know them enough that give me a character sheet. I can play it. Because you're going to play off your character sheet. The GM, if you're running games, you need a lot more than if you're playing. But so if you're playing in David Beatty's Weird West DCC game, and if you bring that book with you, you got nothing. You're not bringing underwear. Okay, so if you're flying, so now there's the alternative, and I'm going to show my phone, but think of this as if it's my iPad. Especially if you're a player.
Yes.
You can put what you need if you have them in digital format on your iPad, on your tablet, and run with that. I can't do that as a GM. That's why I run very light games as a GM. And what I decide to run at a convention is often going to be based upon what can I bring that takes up the least amount of space. Because
Exactly.
I have done this where I have actually left the convention and left gaming material on a table where I'm like,
That hurts.
you know what? I can get this on print on demand. I got new stuff that I can't, and I got to take this as a carry-on. That's staying. All the time that Bad Mike and Zach gave me the Dallas board game,
Oh god. Yeah.
that stayed behind because I had no fucking room. And I travel with Rach, who usually finds room for me in her luggage. I had no room. So you have to plan this. Like when you make acquisitions at a con, think of your luggage and go, will this fit?
And is there enough room to put stuff? Yes.
Right. That sometimes
I-
have shipping facilities.
And I think what we're kind of saying too is, do you need to bring this? And look, it's like any trip. And somebody, I saw advice. Gosh, I must see this 30 years ago, and I've always followed it. And I think it's great advice. They said before you take a trip, pile all your stuff in your suitcase in one stack and all your money in another stack. Pull half of the stuff you're going to take out and double the money, and then you're set. And the point he was trying to make is, if you need something at the con, you can probably buy it.
Right.
And don't feel like you have to bring all this stuff because I've got to bring my 5 sets of dice. And I guess that's what we're kind of saying obliquely is that, plan your shipping accordingly. You don't need as much as you think. Look, every con, I drive to cons, so I'm always. I can throw whatever I want in the car. I can't tell you how much stuff I never even take out of the car. I never take it out of the car. It just stays in the car the whole time. I'm like, oh yeah, why did I bring this again? I don't remember. Well, it's in the car. If I needed it, it was there, but I didn't need it, and I usually don't.
I want on this New York trip. I really would like to run a Hyperborea game.
Mm-hmm.
I took the 2 Hyperborea books and I got a luggage scale, or I used the scale. And that's 5 pounds right there.
Glenn.
That's 5 pounds. Now
you can borrow mine. So if you have it written,
if I don't
run it on Saturday, I can bring the books with me.
Okay, that'd be fun. That'd be great.
Yeah. There you go. Just need to find somebody that has it. So
okay. Alternately, on my hard drive, on my backup hard drive, in my gaming folder in there, I've got practically everything I got on that those shelves in PDF form. Most everything. What I want to take on a trip like that, or a con, or something like that, I still decide which games I'm going to take, and that goes on here.
Yeah,
it's my backup. You know what else I do? I put it on my keychain. I've got the thumb drive on my keychain. I don't have all the games on here, but I make sure I have all the character sheets that I need. So
I got mine right here, except I don't know what happened to the top of it, but I need to put that. But yeah, this has everything I would need to run anything at the con if I needed it. So
I've always got a character sheet in here. We're going to play Marvel Face Rip. Hey, no problem. I'll just print some out. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Parasocial, that should be a box of Twinkies. They'll last forever. not donuts, Twinkies, sir. Twinkies.
Do they age?
Yeah. No.
No.
What's the half-life of those?
If you saw the faux horror movie from 15 years ago?
Oh yeah, with Woody Harrelson. Oh god, that was great.
Oh, Zombieland.
Zombieland, yes.
Yeah.
It's like Twinkies last forever.
Mm-hmm.
They'll outlast the cockroaches.
And he's searching for the last Twinkie, although I don't know why it takes him so long to find it because they're probably everywhere, but he can't find a Twinkie.
At least back then.
Poor Woody could.
Now they're harder to find now that Hostess check.
Well, they're still there. I like Zingers better anyway.
And can I rant too? Has anybody here eaten a ding dong or a Twinkie Lily? They're horrible, and they're not the ding dongs and Twinkies we had as a kid. I'm going to tell you right now. They're made of some kind of crazy substance that's not real and doesn't appear in nature. I went to, there's a place called Mod Pizza. I don't know if you guys got a Mod Pizza.
You're right.
They have a thing called it's called a no-name cake. It's a round cake. It's wrapped up in foil. It's basically what a ding dong was and what it tasted like 35, 40 years ago.
Wow.
They're incredible. And I had just figured I was never going to taste a ding dong again because the ding dongs you eat now, they're awful. I can't tell you guys how bad they are. They're so bad. And I had the no name cake at Mod, and I told my wife, this is what a ding dong tasted like 40 years ago. It's big. It's big like a ding dong used to be. It's cakey. It's delicious. It's fresh. If you buy a Hostess ding dong, it's like buying a piece of plastic wrapped around.
It's a hockey puck.
Like gel, some kind of gel that's not, I don't know what it is. It's not cream. It's like an artificial substance that came out of the, the ground or bubbled out of the ground. It's just awful.
We have a Mod pizza here. So I will have to
try the no name cake. The no name cake, if you remember Ding Dong, Hostess Ding Dongs being awesome, try a no name cake. You'll be like, oh my God, this is, and you'll go, honey, look, take a bite. This is what a Ding Dong used to taste like. And she'll be like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? And you're like, Ding Dongs suck now. But Twinkies the same way. Now, I haven't found a Twinkie substitute yet.
I have.
But Twinkies are bad too. Twinkies are horrible.
I mean, I tried Twinkies and
they're horrible.
See, I like zingers. The vanilla zingers. I tried a Twinkie one time and a zinger, and it's like this tastes like preservatives. Give me the zinger.
Yes.
That's why it will probably survive a nuclear war.
Oh man, where? Fago Rock and Rye. Where? I can't find it anymore.
All right. We're going to go down memory lane for another show.
Okay.
Golly. Try to
look. Daddy says we have to go.
Daddy said.
Yeah. I was just starting to have fun there.
I know.
And we weren't even talking about movies.
That's why. That's why I'm like, it's time. We got to tap out before they hit the movie stuff, because then I'll just be like, hey, why is Eric's camera off and his mic muted? Oh, well, he's got other stuff that he has to attend to.
I just want to tell you something, Eric. The other night, Jim and I didn't stop talking to each other about 10:30. You missed a good hour and a half.
Dude, 10:30 is when I walked away. You guys didn't stop.
No,
10:30 your time. 10:30 your time.
You're right. Yeah. We had another 2.5 hours. We talked for another 2.5 hours after Eric tapped out. He couldn't.
I was like, you know what? And here's the thing: if I tell you I'm tapping out, you guys will go, oh shit, I gotta go. No, I'm just gonna walk away.
You did, and we thought you might even come back. Like, oh look, he just left for a second. So we started talking. And then we're like, oh my gosh, this time it's like 11:30 this time at night. We're like, it's time to go to bed, man. It's late. Jeez.
You guys were having a good one. It happens on Discord once in a while with the Thursday nights, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna announce it. I'm gonna sneak out the door.
And I'm usually right after you. If I'm there, I'm usually right after you.
Geez. All right, folks. Well, thank you, Glenn.
Wrap it.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for letting me on.
And thanks for everybody who found the late notifications, came in. It was really good to see you all.
By the way, but one more thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to make the next Triple D here. So Mike will probably be there for
Well, no, because 2 weeks from now I'll be in Wisconsin, sir. I'll be game host, sir.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, next year, 2 weeks from now on a Friday, I'm going to be running a game in Long Island.
Yeah. So actually,
that's right. Yeah, you guys are going to be busy. You'll be way busy.
And Rach and I are supposed to come out to Long Island on Saturday to be in more gaming. So maybe Rach and I will do Gamers Health on Friday and no live stream on Saturday.
Yeah. My next 2 months are 2 weeks in Long Island, in New York State, Halloween, and a colonoscopy. Boom.
And you're gonna rank them. You're gonna have to rank. You have to rank them. Yeah,
you're gonna rank them.
Well, I can tell you where the colonoscopy is gonna go.
It goes right.
Look, I don't judge, Glenn. I don't know where that might rank in your personal, enjoyment.
Oh yeah, I get off on that.
I don't know. No judgment here. I don't know.
I like it when somebody's
as my Monday group says, don't kink shame. We don't kink shame.
No kink shaming, sir. Whatever you enjoy about the colonoscopy, if you want to rank that number 1 or 2,
the best thing about the colonoscopy is I'm asleep.
Oh well, I thought the best part about it is the 6 hours of shits.
Oh,
No, that's the toil beforehand.
I'm going to tell you, like I tell everybody, take the pills. I told Liz take the pills. She didn't listen to me. She doesn't
I
like
always get the
pills.
liquid. I always get the
Take the
liquid.
pills. Take the
They
pills.
won't give me. They don't give me the pills.
They will. You just have to insist on it, Glenn, because mine wouldn't. And my wife got them, and I said, I will not leave here. I will not even schedule it unless I get the pills. Oh, we can do the pills. That's what I thought. Because of time I went before, they're like, oh, no, we don't do pills. And I had to drink that nasty shit, and I almost threw up like 3 times. It was so gross.
Oh, hell yeah. So, I mean,
and then my wife's like, oh, just do the pills. Now, you got to take these big old pills, like 10 of them, and you wash it down. But you can wash it down with Sprite or water or juice or whatever. You don't have to taste that nasty vomit mix that they give you that's just gross.
Yeah.
No.
And the thing is, you have to
shot. So I'm a pill truther now.
The thing about that liquid is you got to first dilute it in water, then shotgun it.
Any more advice about if anybody needs some advice about colonoscopy? Glenn and I are happy to let you know.
We are doing old man shit right now. All right, folks.
We're almost at 2 hours. Come on.
Get your butt checked. Other than that, live stream tomorrow night, Rach and I, Gamers House, 8 p.m.
I might be there next time.
Yeah, we may have a very special Glen episode. Other than that, folks, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those eyes, roll them well. Back tomorrow. I'll probably have a regular
Radio Grognard.
We'll do a news update.
Yes, Radio Grognard. Don't forget Radio Grognard.
Radio Grognard. Grognard it.